Hi there, Stampers, and thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to be creating this beautiful, simple wow card. This card design comes from my new addiction to Pinterest, and I would love to credit the original designer, but I don't know who it was. So if this was yours, please let me know so I can give you full credit for it. It is so fabulous and so easy to do. Let's get started. Now the first part's going to be kind of hard to see on the video. This is a window sheet from Stampin' Up. It comes 12 by 12 and I've just cut it down to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to place the window sheet over the full butterfly, kind of centering it, in the beautiful butterflies die from Stampin' Up. We'll sandwich the die in the window sheet between 2 cutting pads. Place it on your big shop machine and crank it through. Some of the wings from the dies around the main butterfly are also going to punch out. That's totally fine. We're not worried about that. This is just going to be our mask. If you don't have a window sheet, you could also make your mask out of printer paper. You want thin paper, not cardstock. Cardstock will cause some issues when we go to stamp. So I'm going to take half of an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of Whisper White, folded in half, and this is Dotto temporary adhesive. I'm putting a tiny little dab in the 4 edges of the butterfly. You don't want too much of this. Just enough to hold it in place. And we'll center that towards the top, but in the center. I'll be using our sponge daubers, and all of these products can be purchased in my online store. I'm using 3 colors of Stampin' Up ink: Bashful Blue, Delightful Daffodil, and Pumpkin Pie. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of give it a little twist and shout in the Bashful Blue. And then I'm going to rub in a circular motion in the top section of our butterfly. The great thing about using the window sheet as a mask is that you can reuse it over and over again just by wiping it off. It's pretty cool. I put a couple of coats on the very tip of his wings to make some dimension there, and lighter coming down. Next stop, Delightful Daffodil, and we'll do the bottom edge. And I'm going to blend it in pretty good in the center here. So there's not a stark line here, but the 2 colors almost blend into each other. And last but not least, a little pumpkin pie, not a ton, just a little bit along the edge of his bottom wings. And we'll blend that in. So it's kind of a gradual fade. It is just so pretty. Now I'm leaving the mask on while we stamp. I'll be using the daisies from the Upsy Daisy stamp set. I'm inking these up in basic black. You want to make sure it's good and inked, so I'm going to make sure I get the center in there good and juicy. Once it's well inked, I'm going to stamp it right over the top of the mask. I'm applying some pretty good pressure on this too. I want to make sure we get those edges down there really good. And then after you take the stamp off, then we can remove the mask. Oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous? It just, pow, jumps right off at you. If you have a little bit of the temporary adhesive showing on your card, just take one of Stampin' Up's adhesive removers. Oh my gosh, these are worth their weight in gold. And just erase any little lines there. They take off snail and everything else. The greatest little lifesaver ever. For our greeting on this, I'm using Sincere Salutations. I'm going to use Thinking of You for a sympathy card, but really this could be an all-occasion card just by changing your words. Going to stamp that in the black. You know what? It doesn't need anything else. It's absolutely gorgeous. Even though it's done and it doesn't need these, I love these and I think they do add a little touch to it. So I'm going to take 3 of the Stampin' Up Basic Jewel Pearls. They're self-adhesive. And just stick them underneath the Thinking of You. And voila, our card is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this really cool, beautiful technique. Be sure to visit my blog for tons more ideas. And remember, all of these supplies can be purchased in my online store at stampwithtami.com or at this address. Thanks for joining me today.